Of Tomorrow's Youth Organization. Tomorrow's Youth Organization is an NGO based in Nablus that works with education and empowerment for women and families. They're also venturing into entrepreneurship, if I'm not mistaken. So we're talking about grassroots. Prior to that, she was with
an NGO in
an
DC.
NGO. Yes, an NGO in DC. And prior to that, she was a special program assistant
Are you like memorizing things?
for USA.
Yeah, did some policy work in Washington.
She did some policy work in Washington, and she is also a graduate of San Diego State University with a bachelor's in history. So she is a culture person. She speaks several languages, and I will give the floor to her.
Thank you. That's such a nice introduction. Well, I think I met some of you a few days ago when my colleague Suhad came and didn't make you cry. I will definitely not make you cry. I don't have the touch that she does. As Omar said, yes, I am the director of Tomorrow's Youth Organization. We're an NGO based in Nablus, so I am in charge of about 15 to 20 employees and about 70 to 100 volunteers every session. So it's quite a large team, and it's a multicultural team. It's Americans, local Palestinians, sometimes we have Palestinians from the diaspora, from the States come. We have American internships with some of the best universities in the States, including Harvard and Princeton and Duke and Tufts and Columbia. And so it's a big mix of people that are all here to serve the community. And it obviously takes a lot of work to bring together such a group of people and to manage the work that we do under difficult circumstances. We have not just started entrepreneurship, actually. We're going into our 5th year now working in entrepreneurship. But we focus mainly only on women, supporting women, and the idea behind it is that it works through our women's empowerment. So we try to encourage women to become income generators in order to become social change makers. So that's the way we approach entrepreneurship. It's a bit different, I think, from what you all are doing, which is probably more of a straight up and down business entrepreneurship, although I hope some of you are considering social entrepreneurship. So not only do you make money, but you're also doing something for your community. Today we're going to talk about leadership and management, but before we do, I didn't really get a chance to meet most of you last time, so I would just like a very quick introduction. If we can go around the room, if you can tell me your name and tell me also what your business is or why you're here. So we can start with you.
I'm Ismail. I have a small business called Al-Munir Consulting Company.
Consulting company. Okay, great.
Sahar Abdullah. I work at Vodafone TV as admin assistant, and I'm here to learn more how to make progress my idea.
Okay. So you have a business idea.
Kind of.
Okay. All right.
Mohammed Adem, graphic designer and programmer at BSD, Partners for Sustainable Development. I'm here to learn everything.
Okay. Good.
I was not the senior job at the law firm. I had actually a lot of ideas to do, so that's why I came here to have a review.
Good.
Abdullah Sabri, with developer and Minister of Transport. Actually, I have a lot of idea, but I can't manage them.
Mm-hmm.
I came here to meet.
Narrow it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came here to meet such a great people like you and all the buildings.
Oh, thank you.
And all the
Like Taylor and Omar too.
yeah.
No. We'll stick with you.
I'm Adnan. I work as Cambridge and slightly for the transmission. No.
No, I do. Okay. Good. Can I just stop also and say, English is not my first language, and I know it may not be yours. So the most important thing is if you don't understand anything I'm saying, please stop and ask because you're here to learn. So don't feel shy. You didn't understand. And also, I'm American and sometimes we talk really fast. So please just stop me and say, slow down, okay? It's okay. Don't feel shy. Sometimes even my American staff has to say, slow down to me. So.
Majdi, I work at Timsafer, which is an online hotel booking platform in the Middle East. I do online marketing.
Oh, you work for Fez?
Yes, I work with Paris.
What does he like to say?
That's how we do it. This is the culture of Camp Safer.
Oh, okay, very like Apple. We're gonna learn about that kind of a culture. You have to tell. We'll use you as a case study in a minute.
Alright.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you.
I'm Tala. I was working, I was managing the first commercial art gallery in Palestine, but not anymore. Because I think that's not going to take me anywhere. Well, I'm interested in diamond cutting and jewelry designing, but I'm coming here in order to explore if there is anything interesting in the Palestinian market, so I can do something different in the Palestinian
Wow,
market.
that's great. My ears would love some diamonds. Okay. We gotta keep her like close to us just in case we get a discount.
صلاح الدين just working I am a designer at Zoom design.
Nice.
I hope my idea is real project.
Okay, good. Okay, well, Zoom does all of our designs in Naples, so thank you.
Mohammed Saleh, I'm a graphic designer. I work at Packers Advertising and I also work as freelancer animator.
Okay.
Mohammed Shilla, I'm still studying at University University and public administration.
Okay.
I'm looking to learn more about startups so I can build my own.
Okay, great, great. And I know the rest of you, so that's fun. So we're going to have a very interactive session because I don't really like sitting and talking, and especially when it comes to leadership and management. Today's goal is to just get you to start thinking about when the day comes that you either, like some of you already have a business, or some of you are just thinking about it. The most important thing is not only just to have an idea, but how to execute it and how to work with people to get them to help you execute your business idea. So we're going to talk about things today that hopefully will get you started to think. I always like to say there's no right or wrong answer to these questions that I'm going to ask you today, but the idea is that I want you to start thinking about it. And something else to remember when it comes to leadership and management, it is fluid. What you think today will be very different in 5 years, and that's okay. Even myself, I learn a lot every day about what I can do better and what I can do differently. And in every environment, you will need to shift and change the way, as a leader, hopefully as an owner of a business, how you will approach your staff, your team, if you tell them that you work with them instead of they work for you, different things like that. So the first thing I'd like you to do, I think we're almost ready, is there are a number of quotes around the room that have been hung up about leadership. I would like for you to take a minute to go read all of the quotes first, and then I want you to write down the one that you think reflects your leadership philosophy. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Got it? Okay. So let's take about 5 minutes to go around the room. Now, just to be clear, they're not the ones that are really nice like this. These are not mine. They're the ones that are less nice. You'll see them.
But mine is very good.
Okay, so mine are not these, because these are much better than what I have. But mine are different, so not these.
Our global.
They're all true? Which one do you have to pick? The one that you feel the most. Okay. You really feel it. We're just waiting for Tala. So, why don't we start in the back? Maha, do you want to share with us which one you like the most?
For me, other leaders, success is all about growing person. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others.
Why did you pick that?
Just right.
It's just right.
This is exactly how I look at leadership.
Okay.
You have to help others.
Okay. Great. Majdi, would you like?
I picked the same one as well.
Oh, okay.
For me, I know there are sometimes that I need to be, by myself to just get the most of it, of everything, to experience a lot of things. But at the end, if I don't shift or like give others as well the experience that I had, it would be for nothing.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the hardest parts, especially for an entrepreneur, is that for so long you've been thinking about your business by yourself, for yourself. And that's one of the hardest shifts to make, is how you can start thinking about other people, not just about yourself, because you need other people to grow your business. You can't do it alone, right? Anyone else want to share a quote that they picked? Yes, Tala?
Okay, I believe that leadership is the art of getting people to do something that you want to be done, and at the same time, it's going to be something that they want to be doing. Because like once you want to get people, you want to make sure that like they're really interested in what they're doing and they're satisfied. Because if others are not satisfied about what they're doing, they're never going to be satisfied you and do what you want.
Yeah, and that's extremely hard to get people to do what you want and make them think it's what they want.
Well, it could be done, to be pretty honest.
Yeah?
Yeah, because like
Well, you have the right attitude, so that's
we
good.
don't all have like the same expertise, let's say, and
We all have the same expertise.
we don't have all the same
We
expertise.
don't all
We
have
don't,
the same
yeah. So
expertise. Okay.
sometimes you need somebody to put you, like, to tell you what's wrong in their own specialization.
Mhm. Okay. All right, good. We'll talk more. Anyone else want to share with us? Yes, please.
Leaders think and talk about the solutions. Followers think and talk about the problems. Okay?
So why did you pick that one?
I like the leader who love live the solution, because the problem it's in past, okay, and it need, but the solution is the future and the present.
Yeah,
For,
that's good. Salahuddin, right?
So,
Yeah, that's a good point. So the problems are always things that have happened in the past, usually. Okay, good point. I know you wanted to share, Mahid.
An entrepreneur is the driver of progress. That's the quality.
Oh, that's right. You came up with your own. Say it out loud so your
Yeah.
colleagues can hear your own.
An entrepreneur is the driver of progress.
An entrepreneur is the driver of progress.
Because it needs focus, it needs sacrifices, it needs to stay conscious a lot of the time, to be aware of everything around.
Okay.
That's all.
Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Why not?
Okay. All right. Yes.
And I believe that leaders are born, not made, to be pretty honest, because I think like it has to do with something in your personality. Because you cannot import just like another personality and traits from someone else. You're just gonna be the person who you are. It's like whether you can lead the others or you cannot. Like it's depending on your character and how can you attract others.
But
Well-
your character is made. You're not born with a character.
In a way, you're born with these genes, let's say.
There's a difference between DNA and how someone affects your behavior,
That's your point.
which in effect gets you to do certain
So the
things.
question is, you led me perfectly, thank you so much, into my next slide, which is, are great leaders born or made? This phone never has rang in its life. It's like an American phone who's calling my mom. Okay, so sorry. Yeah. Like of all times, that my mother never calls me from California, and she called right now. Sorry, Nerali, don't take my phone. So let's just do first a show of hands. Who believes that great leaders are born? You are born a leader. Who believes you can be made a leader? Okay, interesting. Okay. I personally believe that great leaders are born, in my opinion. But I want to hear from you. So tell me, for those of you that think that they're made, tell me why.
عشان نتكلم بالعربي.
Please, that's fine. Someone will translate for me.
قرأت من مدة إحصائية في صار في أمريكا 98% من الليدرز are made not born. هذا كإحصائية بنعملوها. بس أنا كرأيي الشخصي الليدر يعني حتى لو هو ولد من أب وأم يعني يكون ليدرز يعني هو مش أنا بكون يعني هي تربيته من أول يوم هي اللي بتخليه ليدر.
But what about your personality?
You work on your personality.
But what you You
by
can-
default.
But what do you think about, you can work on your personality,
Circumstances.
So it's me.
but does that mean you will equal a leader?
No, you will work hard on your
You can never.
personality.
You
And
could, yeah, you
try
could,
to be more experienced.
absolutely. Like, does
So
that make
can
you a
be
leader?
Yes, if you work hard on yourself and you have a great background, you can be a leader with a good ideas.
Okay,
So why
so
not?
everyone can be a leader as long as they work on themselves.
Exactly.
That's your idea, okay.
If you have the right motivation, I think anyone would just want to try his environment.
Okay, And-
If you really have the thing,
uh-huh,
so I think the change will happen.
okay. Tala, you are on the other side, you're
Yeah,
with me,
You're
actually.
born. I believe that you start developing your own character while you're still in your mom's womb. So, you're born as a
It's
leader.
true, scientifically, actually, yes, that is
so
true.
you're born as a leader, you know, like you're not controlling this, just like circumstances surrounding you.
Mm,
So you're born like a leader.
Okay,
If you can make a leader, you can make 1,000 of leaders. So the society will be okay.
mm,
But because the leaders are born.
interesting, that's a good point. So
Yeah.
he's saying that if anyone could be a leader, we would have thousands of them, but we
Yeah.
don't. Interesting, okay.
Yeah, there's a proverb in Japan say, working hard.
You're not gonna speak English, but you're gonna give me a Japanese proverb?
This German proverb said, working hard,
Mhm.
beat the talent.
Working hard
Can beat the talent.
Beat.
Beat.
can beat.
Yeah. Yeah, تغلب.
Ah, okay, yes? Okay.
Sorry.
Japanese proverb, yes. Like I said again, I just want to put this question out to you. We all have our opinions. I have my own too. It doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means that it's something to think about. And the reason why I say this is because it's something I've had to think about a lot when I'm leading people. I've had many situations where I've tried to give people that work for me an opportunity to be leaders. And in my experience, no matter how much training or support or, experiences, some people just couldn't get to the point that other people's naturally went straight to that point. They naturally were leaders. They didn't need any training, any experience. It was something about their personality that allowed them to be leaders. So for me, in my experience, I have found that trying to make people what they're not is not good for the organization, but rather looking at people, what they have to offer, and then maximizing that. So instead of trying to make people what they're not, finding their strengths and just working with that. But again, that's my experience, and I want you to just think about this as you kind of grow and look at yourself as well. And we're going to talk a little bit more, not only about you as a leader, but even if you are a leader or if you are a manager. And those are very different things. So we're going to talk about that too. So, did you guys, was the homework sent for that personality test? Be honest. How many of you took the personality test that we sent you as homework? Some of you took it? Okay, not a lot. All right. So what did you think about the personality test? Any thoughts about the questions or about the process of it? Did it tell you anything that you were surprised to know about yourself?
I think, yeah. I think actually personality keeps changing over time.
Okay.
I don't think you have the same personality a year before. I don't think you're the same. You're the same one a year ago.
What do you guys think about that? About your personality changing every year?
Things
or
changing a little.
things changing? Do you agree?
Is it the way you're saying?
Sometimes it's.
Sometimes?
Yes. But we go
Even the
through.
bones after a year it changes.
Yeah. Okay.
Every day they change, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it's
Well,
interesting.
Nothing's constant.
It's surprising sometimes.
Well, for those of you that didn't take the personality test, since only 4 people took it, we won't spend a lot of time talking about it then, but I encourage you, I think it's an interesting test to take. And one of the most interesting things that you can do, and I know my colleague Sue had touched on this a little bit, is sometimes I tell people, you should describe yourself to other people, and then you should think about how other people would describe you.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
I don't like
So-
thinking about that.
Sorry?
I don't like thinking about that. That's weakness.
Oh, that's not weakness.
To think what you think about me, I just.
No, it's not, not, it doesn't mean what do I think about you in terms of your value. So it's not gonna change you as a person and your value and what you think of yourself. But the idea is that sometimes as people, when we talk about communication, communication is the act of listening and speaking, right? So both, you can't have one without the other. So it's the same thing when it comes to your personality. You might think you're a very nice person and that you're when you speak, you're very clear. But if all of your team says, wow, when that guy speaks, I don't understand what he's saying. It doesn't matter what you think, right? Because it's not a weakness. The idea is that sometimes we see ourselves a certain way, good or bad, doesn't mean anything if it's good or bad. But when you're a leader, it's not just about how you see yourself, it's also about how your team sees you. Because that makes a big difference. I have a colleague who every time we were in a meeting, she would sit like this. Because she's cold. She's always cold. So she's always sitting like this. So she thinks she's very friendly and a very nice person. And every time she would leave a meeting, people used to be like, what's her problem? And one day somebody said to her, why are you always so mad? In every meeting you're like this. And she's like, no, I'm just cold. I'm always cold. And they said, well, you just think you're always mad. So they didn't want to work with her. So, again, not a good or bad thing, but the idea is that she's a very nice person, but sometimes her...
With each person, you can't. You just can't. You just
Right.
have to be-
Right, but you know, well, listen.
That's what I believe.
It's absolutely fine, like I said at the beginning of this training, I'm not here to tell you yes or no or right or wrong. I'm just here to give you advice as somebody who's done it for a long time, that as much as I think I'm a very nice person and I'm so patient with my staff, they might think otherwise, and their opinion is important to me. Because I can't lead a team if they don't respect me, if they don't trust me, if they don't like me. I can't lead a team. I can't do it. Doesn't matter if I am the CEO of Apple or Google or whatever. People have to like you. And especially here, when you're doing a startup, you don't have a lot of money, so you can't buy people. When you can buy people, they don't have to like you. But you can't buy people when you have a startup. You need them to like you as a person and believe in what you're doing. Okay? So it is important what other people think about you, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship. I don't mean it to say what people think about you, like in terms of like, if someone doesn't like you, you should cry. No, I mean, but the idea is, like, you need to know and be self-aware. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with them or that they're right, but you should be self-aware. It's extremely important, I believe, especially in business. So when we're talking about building a team, you don't build a business. You build people. And then people will build your business. And that's really important to remember. Again, as an entrepreneur, you're not in it alone. You might be at the beginning, but if you want to be successful, it's dependent on a number of people, and the most important, of course, is you. So, I want to take a few minutes to actually do an activity, and I'm just going to have you guys count off 1, 2, 1, 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. Okay. So if all the ones can go on this side of the room, or even do we have extra rooms where people, where would you prefer them to work? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, wherever you want to go, but all the ones get together and all the teams get together. And we're going to do an activity for a few minutes. Leader. So for example, what's the first one? Somebody who monitors progress. Would that be a manager or would that be a leader? So pick which one you think as a group and just tape it underneath which side you think it falls on. Okay?
Well, that's
So here's Hala, here's this, and here's tape. Okay, so what you guys are going to do is as a group, you have manager and you have leader. And I want you guys to think about each one of these traits. For example, someone who coordinates efforts. somebody who gives orders and instructions, somebody who as an interface between the team and outside. So you need to decide, is this person a manager or a leader? And then you just tape it to whichever side. Okay, so we'll take about 20 minutes to do this. Okay?
Interface between team and outside.
We have a lot for leaders. Okay, so manager. So let's do this. Under manager, scheduling work. Scheduling work. Yeah? Okay, so take it off. Delegating tasks. Delegating tasks.
Yes.
Yes?
No.
Oh, you don't?
I don't think that you have.
Uh-oh.
Between? Ah, yeah.
You put it under leader.
Delegating, said leader, because we said that leaders were great here. I remember when we agreed on this.
You put leader, delegating tasks, you put manager.
Yes.
Why? Why is delegating tasks for a manager not a leader?
A leader is has certain plans that distributes to people working under his hierarchy.
You guys hear that? Say it
I
again.
don't hear.
So they put delegating tasks under manager. So sorry, just say that again so they hear you.
The manager has a certain plan in his mind. He distributes its tasks to people under his hierarchy.
So this idea, he's saying that delegating tasks is more for a manager to do under the hierarchy to give it to people. But you guys say it's for a leader to do.
I don't agree with him.
Why?
Okay, because I think that a leader could delegate tasks. But like a manager, he wants to be included in each little tiny thing. I want to know what's going on. So I'm not going to be having any risk. But a leader, he believes in others and he believes that others could do something good.
Okay.
We have our
It could be both? Okay. Well, I would agree with this team in terms of delegating tasks would be for a manager, only because the idea is that the leader would have the vision, and the manager would make that vision a reality, right? By delegating tasks to the team. But again, no right or wrong answers, but just something.
Okay.
Okay. Using analytical data to support recommendations. Manager? Okay, good. Motivating staff.
What?
Motivating staff.
Motivating staff leader.
Leader?
Leader or manager?
Leader. It's a leader.
Leader.
Leader?
Yes.
Should be leader.
It's actually a manager.
It's motivating.
It's motivating. Come on, a manager
Manager
never
don't
not
manager won't
motivating,
people.
managers that don't even care.
Leaders can be managers also.
You have wrong ones. Answer.
Okay, so a manager, I can tell in your experience,
Yeah.
has not motivated you. But again, if you think about it more broadly, again, the leader is the person who sets the tone for the organization. But who's dealing with the staff every day? Is it the leader or is it the manager? So if you think about it in a company, like a CEO, right? You have a big company, okay? So how often is the leader interacting with the staff, honestly, versus how often is the manager interacting with the staff? Because the manager is interacting with the staff probably on a daily basis, that person would be in charge of keeping their motivation. A leader can come in once a month and have a lunch with the team and say, guys, you're doing a great job and let's keep motivated.
So this
But
is
every day, who's motivating you? Honestly, when you go to work every day, who is the person that you're seeing and interacting with the most?
maybe the manager
None of
Can
them
motivate
have
me.
past experience.
Right, I totally agree with you that most managers don't do a good job of motivating,
Yeah.
but they should. Because again, that's the person you're interacting with probably on an hourly or daily basis. So even if your leader is great, you believe in the leader, but the person you're working for every day, the manager, is like not motivating you, what does it matter if the leader is, if the leader motivates you, if the person you're dealing with every day does not do it for you? So again, technically it should be manager, but
I will stick to
you still agree with it? That's okay.
Convinced, actually.
Okay. Ensuring predictability. Ensuring predictability.
Manager.
Manager?
I didn't get that.
Predictability. Manager.
No, ensuring.
Ensuring predictability. I hope you have it. You don't have it? No?
That's why maybe we have two.
Oh, you have two?
لا بس
Okay.
لا.
Okay, well, you guys put it under leader?
Oh,
manager.
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 Okay, good. Coordinating effort. Coordinate effort.
ما مرتش عليك.
Leader.
Leader?
ما مرتش عليك.
I think you made a
We
mistake.
don't
I
have,
get your
I don't
point.
recall.
I do.
I can't recall.
Ah.
I'm getting all
Yeah?
sorts
Leader.
right now. I think you made a mistake.
Leader.
Yes.
You both put coordinating effort as leader.
Yeah.
Okay. Again,
It should be a
it's
manager.
manager. You see why?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
You
did.
get it? Okay. Coordinating resources.
It must be manager as well.
Manager?
We put it under leader, but it's a manager.
Okay. Give orders and instructions. Giving orders.
A manager, for sure.
Yes.
Now she
For manager. Sheila.
guiding progress. Guide progress.
Leader.
Guiding progress.
It's a manager.
Manager?
Manager?
Guiding progress. We don't have it. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, monitoring progress we have.
That's the next one. Monitoring progress. Manager?
Yes.
Okay, good. Check task completion.
Should be manager.
Yeah.
Check task completion.
Hey, hey.
We don't have a that. We have a few of them.
Tasks.
Okay.
Manager.
We don't have this paper.
Okay, I'm sorry. There might be an extra paper. No? Okay.
This
It's
is all we
fine.
have.
Following systems and procedures.
Manager.
Manager, sure.
We're gonna switch now. Providing feedback on performance.
The leader.
Good. Inspiring people.
Leader.
Should be manager.
No? Leader.
Leader.
Yeah.
Create a culture.
Leader.
Leader, create a culture, I think it could be, should be manager.
Leader. Taking risks.
Leader. Manager.
Leader, manager, never
We mix it. We put we have it on both sides.
Why?
They have.
Who should take risks, a leader or a manager?
Should be manager, I think.
Leader?
I think.
No, I get it. I get it.
So why do you think?
Well, I think leader can be manager, but managers can't be leaders.
Okay, but my question is, why did you pick that one?
That's why we mix it.
Okay, that's why you mixed it, okay. So let's look at the last one, let's pick one last one, sharing a vision. Leaders? Okay. All right, so we're not gonna do all of them because we don't have time to go through all of it, but I hope it started making you think a little bit about the difference, and we're gonna come talk about it more, so come sit down. About that. Any thoughts? So, the difference between a leader and a manager. Management and leadership are often interchanged, the words. We sometimes use these words to describe the same person or the same responsibility. But they're very two different distinct skill sets in the business world, okay? So again, when you're thinking about a leader, I believe personally that you can be both. So I can be a manager who is also has a lot of leadership qualities, and maybe one day I can move into a leadership position. And when you're a manager, you kind of are in a leadership position because you obviously have a staff, whether it's 5 or 5,000 people. But the main idea behind it is a leader is someone who is much more creating a culture in an organization. So for all of you as entrepreneurs, I have bad news for you.
What?
You're probably not going to be very good managers, okay? And not that it's a bad thing, but I'll tell you why. Because a lot of the skill sets of people who are entrepreneurs, especially I would say for some of you who are looking more in the technology field, I would say, a lot of you are very good at what you do. And what do? You code data and you sit in front of a computer and you're super like into you and the screen, right? And like good for you. And you have a vision for what you want your company to be. And you know what you want, which is great. But that doesn't mean you can be a manager. That doesn't mean if I give you 50 people, you can motivate them, you can inspire them, you can make them do what you want every single day. You need to hire somebody to do that for you. So it's really important to know if you are a leader, and I'm pretty sure, again, most of you in this room probably are, just given your track of what you want to do with your careers in terms of entrepreneurship, it doesn't mean you're going to be a good manager. And you should think about the different categories we just talked about, because the best thing you can do for yourself is to make sure that as you start your business venture, you may have leadership qualities, know what your weakness is, and then make sure you hire somebody that can complement you. Okay, does that make sense? Yes?
So it's better to stay where we are.
Well, it's better to stay where you are, but again, self-awareness.
I'm just kidding. You know,
Self-awareness is really important, okay, when we talk about this. So again, the idea is that I might be a very good leader. I might have the big picture, as we call it. But I need someone to execute every single day those tasks to my team. That may not be me, because I'm thinking about the big picture. I'm thinking about interfacing with the community. I'm the picture for my company. But it doesn't mean I'm the person that needs to be every single day dealing with human resources, and this person came late, and this person doesn't work well with this person, so what should we do? I may not have this quality to deal with that. So most entrepreneurs, people who are successful, I believe in my opinion, are people who keep their eye on the bigger picture, but then hire people to execute what they do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, some people think you have to be run by ideas, not hierarchy. Do you know who said this quote? Some of you may know him.
One of the keys to Apple is Apple's an incredibly collaborative company. And so, you know how many committees we have at Apple? No. 0. We have no committees. No committee. We are organized like a startup. One person's in charge of iPhone OS software. One person's in charge of Mac hardware. One person's in charge of iPhone hardware engineering. Another person's in charge of worldwide marketing. Another person's in charge of operations. We're organized like a startup. We're the biggest startup on the planet. And we all meet for 3 hours once a week, and we talk about everything we're doing, the whole business. And there's tremendous teamwork at the top of the company, which filters down to tremendous teamwork throughout the company. And teamwork is dependent on trusting the other folks to come through with their part without watching them all the time, but trusting that they're going to come through with their parts. And that's what we do really well. And we're great at figuring out how to divide things up into these great teams that we have and all work on the same thing, touch bases frequently, and bring it all together into a product. We do that really well. And so what I do all day is meet with teams of people and work on ideas and solve problems to make new products, to make new marketing programs, whatever it is.
And are people willing to tell you you're wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, other than snarky journalists. I mean, people that work.
Oh, yeah. No, we have wonderful arguments.
And do you win them all?
Oh, no, I wish I did. No, see, you can't. If you want to hire great people and have them stay working for you, you have to let them make a lot of decisions, and you have to be run by ideas, not hierarchy. The best ideas have to win.
So,
otherwise, good people don't stay.
But you must be more than a facilitator who runs meetings. You obviously contribute your own ideas.
I contribute ideas, sure. Well, why would I be here if I did?
They're good ones.
Yeah? You agree?
Yeah.
Why? Dalia?
Yeah, because if you want to go through the hierarchy, usually like it's a boring, it's like a boring thingy, like, you know, moving from one stage to another. Though you might be having like a brain, which is like 10 times much better than somebody who's at the top, but because like they're senior, they're having that position.
Okay.
So like, if you have great ideas, you can always be doing something much better than people who doesn't have these ideas.
Majdi, you clapped.
Yes, I did. Because
So
I like the
glad.
idea of how they kept the business atmosphere of Apple as a startup.
We hear that a lot,
That's-
right,
that's
from
great.
Apple, that it has this kind of, this is what we hear a lot about Apple, right? It's very collaborative, it's not hierarchical, it's all about ideas.
Because it's run by ideas, you have creative thinking from the employees. So you can be a more productive organization or company by this idea.
What do you think?
I think Apple is a big company, and,
Yeah.
and such company, if you need to build it in hierarchy mode, its hierarchy structure will be very big, and some details will lose between one hierarchy level to another.
Next, okay.
And that's will make a problem, and he solved it. But
Yeah.
he's
Okay. Okay, interesting. So most of you agree.
What do you think?
Some people think Apple is North Korea run by Steve Jobs. And a very famous person, actually, who I don't know if you all know here, his name is Malcolm Gladwell, said this about Steve Jobs. I'm sorry, the volume's not very good, huh?
What you get are a set of people whose default proposition is not the hierarchy, but the network. And what is the network? The network is open, not closed. It is flexible, not disciplined, and it is decentralized and not centralized. You know, our generation, the chief goal of organizations over the last 30 years has been trying to teach us who default to the hierarchical mode about all of the extraordinary benefits of networks. Teaching us to be more collaborative, teaching us to be more adaptive and flexible, and teaching us to thrive in decentralized environments. With this generation, the opposite challenge is upon us. Right? This is a generation that does all those things really well. What we need to do is to teach them the benefits of hierarchies, to get them to understand that there are times and places when discipline and centralization and rules and strategies and all those kinds of things are things that really matter. To me, the great example of all of this is the greatest company of our age, which is Apple. A company that grew out of the most networked environment in this whole country, Silicon Valley. A place where openness and collaboration and decentralization and all those things were absolutely at the core of their set of values. But what was Apple? The most hierarchical company maybe ever built in America over the last 50 years. For many years, a dictatorship of one, right? It was North Korea, run by Steve Jobs. And to me, that's a beautiful example of how we need both these things, both these models. Right? What we need is a system where we bring out the best of networks and combine them with the best of hierarchies. And that's the thing I think we need to remind the millennials.
Thoughts? Did you get it? Lisa, you're nodding. Yes, you agree?
Yeah, I agree with you.
You
It should
agree?
be mixed.
It should be a mix.
Yeah.
So, again, this is something really interesting, I think, for people. Most of us look at Apple because they've told us that they're extremely collaborative and that it's this idea factory where they just pump out all these amazing things. But a lot of people would look at Apple and say, no, it's not. There's one person at the head of Apple, the leader, Steve Jobs. right? We all know Steve Jobs. Can you name 5 other people that work at Apple? I can't. When I think of Apple, I just think, and he's dead now too, God rest his soul. But I mean, we identify Apple with Steve Jobs, right? And people will hopefully identify you with your company. You're the leader of the company. But that's not to say that in these companies there isn't hierarchy and that there aren't systems and networks. And I think this is a good example to think again for yourself. Obviously, as you said, Apple is a huge company, so obviously it's something a little bit different than maybe what you're working on right now, but I think the foundation is probably still the same. So, are you a leader or a manager? We talked a little bit about leadership and my belief in terms of your entrepreneurial spirit. But I want to show you, we're going to take a break now, since there's so many guys, I'm sure you'll appreciate this. Whoops.
Now let's go have some fun, man. Let's take it home forward. Hey, when you think you gave everything that you got, you gotta give more. It's that simple. You gotta give more, man.
We watched you become a leader from your days in Cleveland.
You guys know LeBron
to
James?
now. What has changed?
You know what? I think it's come from me wanting more out of myself. Now, and I can say it's me maturing, but it's just me maturing. Everyone's not a leader, and we shouldn't expect everyone to be a leader. I think it becomes something that you want to do or you're born with it. And some people lead by example, some people lead by voice, some people lead by both. And for me, I felt in order for myself to be as good as I wanted to be, and at the same time, in order for our team to be as good as I wanted it to be, I had to be both. As well as we played last game, it ain't gonna be enough to win tonight. You gotta give more, dog. You gotta protect more, you gotta help more, you gotta sacrifice more in order to get this win.
You have a lot of different styles. Let's throw out some of them. You're like wise teacher sometimes. Tell me about that. I know, man. I got so, like you said, man, I got so many different forms of leadership,
and it just comes from my personality. You know, at times I can be silly. Right. And he's beautiful. He's got me looking like Iron Man. And at times I can be serious. If you know personally, you know teammates, you throw it up to the rim. That's like you throwing that same pass to Shaq. But you go ahead and say, you want to throw that pass to Shaq. At times I can be like a teacher and be like, you know, focusing in on all my students. Right. So I go right here, so if I need to step on, at least I'm going to step right here. At times I can be the student, you know, and to be able to have different forms of leadership has helped me because you have different personalities in the locker room. Everybody's not the same. The way I talk to D-Wade may not be the way I can talk to Chris. Or the way I talk to Chris may not be the way I talk to UD or to Bird or to Rita. Big time. Big time. Everyone's personality is different. So my leadership skills has different phases because I understand what I'm doing. I love you. I love you. They go crazy. Ah! Whoever misses is out. Whoever misses is out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sometimes, you know, the smile and leadership, sometimes the playful response, sometimes you use that as a form of leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. I got that from being around my childhood friends. We used to have so much fun, man. But we understood when that ball was tipped, we're gonna have most fun here. And I just brought that with me to the NBA. When you're doing something that way and it's working and you're winning and you're not disrespecting the game, this is what you feel like is how it's supposed to be done. It's given me a sense of brotherhood in this league that is hard to come by.
So, LeBron James is probably one of the best basketball players in America, and I think when we talk about leadership, especially in the States, a lot of us look up to our sports icons, and a lot of kids here I know when it comes to football do the same thing. And I think one of the reasons why I like this clip the best is because when he says, and I hope you will take this, in terms of leadership, changing your personality and changing your forms of leadership because you're dealing with people with lots of different personalities. And I think that's a really powerful statement, and I think that you will find that as you go in your careers to be true. So what's your leadership philosophy? I asked you guys to think about this as we leave today. People buy into the leader before they buy into the vision. So what does that statement mean to you? People buy into the leader before they buy into the vision. What do you think? You don't know?
I think they care more about the leaders than the things that the leader has, or something that they can give them.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, when I first met Faris at Imsafir, because I liked, in general, all of the employees, when I met them there, before I knew anything about Imsafir, I got to meet them and I liked the atmosphere they created. This is why I like to work at Imsafir.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Out of my own personal experience at my work, I would say that for me, I used to believe in the vision and such an interesting thing, so I would go for it. And I realized that after 2 crazy, let's say, experiments that I went through, that the leader wasn't that motivating or understanding or willing to do something. So I believe nowadays that you should, when you want to work with somebody, if you want to be a leader, at least you should trust your leader and have somebody who could be a leader for you. Otherwise, do your own thingy.
Your own thingy, yes, exactly. We'll quote that. The idea is behind this, right? So all of you, you're here today because you're thinking about doing a business, or you're interested, or you already have one and you want to expand and you want to grow. Well, at the end of the day, you need people to work for you, and as excited as you are about your vision, people aren't. Okay, this is your company, which is great, but they need to buy into you first as a person, as a leader. I'm sure all of you have seen great companies that you've heard of, but because of somebody in that company that you had to work for, you wouldn't want to work there. Even if you like the company, you may not want to work there, right? Clearly, hitting a nerve here with Tala. She's had this experience. So the idea is that people need to buy into you. So what's your leadership philosophy? Who are you? This is when you start thinking more outside yourself. You might have your business plan, your financial plan, you know what you want to do in terms of your business. That's really just a small start to what's really coming next. So the next thing is, who are you? How are you marketing yourself? People need to believe in you. The details about your business come later, right? Yeah. But people really need to believe in you first and your vision as a leader. So I ask you today to think about, what is your leadership philosophy? So, managers, we already talked about this a little bit. If you're an entrepreneur, then like it or not, you will also have to be a manager, and there's a very good chance you have no idea what you're doing. So, again, the idea is that you have the vision, you have the business idea, you're here through this organization, and I'm sure through many others, trying to learn more. One of the most important things I can tell you, though, is in order to get your business off the ground, you need to also be a good manager, or you need to know that you're not a good manager and find someone who is. You need to find someone who believes in you, buys into your vision, and is willing to execute what you need to get done. We are going to do... Yeah, please.
I believe it's confidence. That's the missing piece, actually.
Confidence?
Yeah.
Self-confidence?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I think if the manager was confident, I think the whole team will just believe in him.
If the manager is confident?
Yes.
Well, I can tell you I'm a pretty confident person, and everyone that works for me doesn't believe in what we're doing.
Actually,
I feel that most people would feel that I'm confident. Still, in my experience, doesn't mean they're going to buy into the vision. I mean, I'm a pretty confident person, and I think people see me as a confident person. But it doesn't mean that they buy into what I'm doing, right? It helps, for sure, because if I was standing in front of you today I think this is what it means to be a leader, but I'm not sure. You may not believe me. So I definitely think confidence is extremely important for anything. For anything, by the way. You need to have self-confidence. But for sure, as a manager, if you don't have self-confidence, obviously we have a saying, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So if you're the manager and you're the weakest link, there's probably not a good chance that the people that work for you are going to be much better, right? So, one of the things that I want to do with you guys for our last few minutes is a little role play exercise. So many of you, I know some of you have had businesses or you're in positions where you oversee other people, but I do think it's fun to see what your management skills are like. So I need a volunteer. Who would like to volunteer? Majdi? Okay, well, we'll do many of you, don't worry. We'll have this go around. So we're gonna do a little role play exercise. Should we put the light on here?
Yeah, fine.
Is it okay? All right. Tala. Tad. Come stand here in front of the group. So, Majdi, you're the founder of a tech company. Congratulations. One of your employees, Tala, has been missing work recently. She tends to call in at the last minute, and she's always doing it on Sundays and on Thursdays, and we know why. So, you need to talk to Tala about her lateness at work. Go.
Good morning, Tala.
Hi.
I heard you were missing last Tuesday and Sunday. Is everything all right?
Yeah, to some extent. I have some personal reasons why I don't show up.
But I guess I made that clear that it's not acceptable. You could at least give me a notice.
I could, sometimes you can't even notice or to do anything. You just find yourself in the middle of something, and you have to just to focus about what's happening.
What's your job, Tala?
I have a job, but I have other life as well.
Okay, you're fired, simply.
Hey! Everyone that's working outside.
I have other things.
Okay, let's clap for our all right. So, how do we think Majdi dealt with that situation?
Well, actually, 2 years ago, me and a couple of friends, we created a band. And I'm really upset with people that are careless. So I had my cousin was the drummer at the band, and he didn't attend 90% of our practice sessions.
Okay.
And I was so good to him, because I didn't want to hurt his feelings, my cousin, blah, blah, blah. But at the end, I got fed up, and I asked him many times to attend. And I stopped even giving him notices for a long time.
Okay.
And he didn't show up. At the end, I told him, you're not accepted in the band, you're fired.
Okay.
I had to, because sometimes you're in a place that if you want to succeed, and if you want to bring success to the team, you can't sacrifice having someone that is careless and that is discouraging the team.
So I think what's interesting about what you just said is that you had to fire him. So one of the most important things you will learn is something called prevention. Prevention. Where you don't put yourself into a corner where you ever have to do something. Don't allow yourself to be forced to have to do something. So Tala, we're going to do this, me and you.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to give you an example of perhaps how to better deal with the situation.
All right.
Good morning, Tula.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
I missed you at work on Sunday. You weren't here, I heard. But is something wrong? Are you okay?
I'm really sorry I couldn't get back to you. I went through something and it was really urgent. It was a personal thing. I'm really sorry. I promise next time I'm gonna texting you.
Okay.
This time things went really wrong and I was not concentrating. I'm really sorry.
Okay. Well,
I feel ashamed.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I hope everything's okay.
Oh yeah. Everything's okay.
You're all right now?
Yeah.
Your family, everything?
Yeah.
Everything? Okay, good. Well, I'm sorry that you had an urgent issue, but this hasn't been the first time that this has happened. It's happened, I think this month alone, it's happened about 5 or 6 times. So I'm concerned. I hope everything is okay with your personal life, but also we have some really important projects, and I want to trust that I can give them to you actually, because I think you're such an important part of our team. But I might have to give it to your colleague because, if I'm not sure if you're going to come to work or you miss important meetings, then I can't give you more of a role here at the company. And I really would like to because I think you have a lot to offer us. But why don't we do another 2-week trial period? And why don't you show me that you have commitment to the team in this way?
Great.
Yeah? Okay, good, because I really want to give you more responsibilities here, and I'd like to see you grow and to take more of a challenge with our team, but that means you have to show up, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you understand that this can't happen again.
Yes, I
And I totally understand that there's emergencies and sometimes things happen suddenly, but 6 times in 1 month is a lot, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's try to do better, and we're gonna touch base in 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll see a lot more progress.
Okay.
Okay?
That's great.
Sounds good? Okay.
Okay.
So, how did you feel about that?
Well, the way that you were talking to me, it was like way nicer than the way Majdi was talking to me. And like when somebody's talking to you in a nicer tone, usually like you become nicer, even if you don't stand them. But sometimes like if people that you really like them and they talk to you in a very aggressive tone, you feel like, oh, it's the last thing on my agenda seeing you. Like probably before they firing you, they're gonna tell them, oh, goodbye,
Okay.
never coming back.
So, I mean, I didn't say like, mush mushkila, you can be late. She's on a 2-week trial. Like I told her, like I've noticed you've been late, you've got 2 weeks to get yourself together. But I also did it in such a way to make her feel like she's valuable and she's important to the team and that she is holding herself back. I'm gonna have to give your colleagues something that I want to give you because of your actions, not because of ours as a company. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's try another role play. Who wants to volunteer? Issa, would you like to? No? Come on, please.
Please, no.
Please no? Oh, okay, all right.
No, I'm not prepared.
It's role play, no one's prepared. I didn't.
No, actually, Barack Obama even practice his speech in his own room before he could come up with a crowd. Right?
Well, you're such a leader, let's go. Come on, no one practiced.
Come on.
Let's clap. No one practiced. Okay. I'm going to do it with you because we only have 5 minutes. So, Nathan, you're the founder of a tech company as well, coincidence. You asked your employee, me, to send new information to a client. Very important. Well, it's a potential client. You want to get this client for your business. And you asked me to send her some very important information, and I forgot. I didn't do it. So now you have to talk to me about it.
Okay. Actually, what was the reason that you didn't send the mail?
You don't know? Oh, you're asking me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you know what? You didn't say I had to do it yesterday, so I thought I could do it today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think it's my fault then.
Okay.
But sorry.
I like you as a boss. Awesome.
That's what I do.
Okay.
That's what I like to do.
Okay, well, role play. Let's say you did tell me to do it yesterday, and I'm pretty sure you didn't tell me, you didn't give me a deadline. I just assumed I could do it today.
But it's very important to our company. You know that?
I mean, well, this company.
Let's say.
Yeah, but this company hasn't
Never
given me a
mind.
raise, so obviously I'm not important to the company.
Well.
Don't say you're fired.
Alright. What did you bring up the raise actually right now? Talk to me about something else.
I mean, I know, but you're like, I know I should have sent it, but like, I just feel like sometimes people here don't value my work, and I feel like I work so hard and I don't get paid enough. So I feel like if you don't.
Let's talk about it later.
like
actually,
next year.
After the background, because actually I need to think about it.
Okay.
I don't have the right answer.
Okay.
I don't have.
Okay.
I can't just say anything.
Yeah. Actually, that's good. I will say, actually, you know what? You did a good job. And we're gonna switch roles. But you know what? Sometimes, obviously, in this situation, you would talk to the person when you were prepared, but sometimes you're not prepared. And I think one of the most important things you can do as a manager or a leader, if you're not prepared to have the conversation, don't have it. Because sometimes you say things you don't, later you will regret.
Exactly.
Right? So if you're not ready to have the conversation, but maybe you just ran into me in the hall, and I'm like, hey, and you're like, you didn't send the email, And I'm like, so, you know, I had this conversation with you. The best thing you can do, because you can never take away something you said, right?
Yeah.
So it's better to calm down and be like, you know what? I'm not ready to have this conversation, but we will have it. And then go and think about it and be prepared to talk to someone about it. So actually what you did was good. But we're gonna reverse the role play super quick. What happened? You were supposed to send our client, or this person we hope is gonna be our client, the email, and she said you never sent it yesterday. Why didn't you send it? You're just making fun.
Yes, I'm trying to change.
He's such a good employee, can't he? I would have so many reasons.
I think it's my fault.
Well, I mean, I know it's your fault. I'm not asking if it's your fault. Of course it's your fault. But like, why didn't you do it? We're gonna lose like $100,000 from this client. Yeah, $100,000. Like, it's a lot of money. What's wrong with you? God, you're so stupid. I can't believe, you know what? This is why I say I should only hire women. Because women are so much smarter and they would never forget. We can multitask. We can do more than one thing at once. Oh,
No,
Mahed.
actually I sent it, but
Oh, you sent it now? What do you mean you sent it? She said you didn't.
no, I remember we had a problem with the internet connectivity.
Oh, the internet went out.
No, you can ask the IT.
I don't need to ask
manager.
it. So why didn't you just go to a coffee shop, go anywhere and send it? It's Ramallah. We're not in like Nablus. There's internet. There's internet everywhere here.
So what can I get?
I mean, nothing now. Like, I just can't even deal with you. I just don't know. You know what? You're such a bad employee. I don't want to talk to you. I'm just kidding. I feel so bad. He's so nice. Thank you, Matt. Obviously.